Welcome to Chapter 1 of Personal and Community Health. Chapter 1 covers the introduction to wellness, fitness, and lifestyle management. This is a glance ahead on what we're going to cover. We're going to cover wellness and new health goals, and how to reach wellness through lifestyle management. So first, we're going to explain the difference between health, wellness, and risk factor. So health and wellness are often used interchangeably, but they actually have two distinct definitions. So healthy people seek a state of overall wellness rather than merely the absence of illness. So generations of people have viewed health simply as the absence of disease, and that view largely prevails today. So for example, if you think about when you go to the doctor, they're often determining your state of health, not your state of wellness. The word health refers to the overall condition of a person's body or mind and to the presence of or absence of disease, illness, or injury. Wellness expands this idea of health to include our ability to achieve optimal health. Beyond the simple presence or absence of disease, wellness refers to the optimal health and vitality to living life to its fullest. Although, like I said earlier, sometimes people use these terms interchangeably, they differ in two very important ways. Health can be determined or influenced by factors beyond your control, such as your genes, age, and family history. For example, a man with a family history of prostate cancer will have a higher than average risk for developing prostate cancer. Wellness is largely determined by the decisions you make about how you live. That same man can reduce his risk of cancer by eating sensibly, exercising, and having regular screening tests. Even if he develops the disease eventually, he may still reduce its effects and live a rich, meaningful life. Wellness, therefore, involves making conscious decisions to control risk factors in your life. These risk factors contribute to disease or injury. Age and family history are risk factors you cannot control. Behaviors such as exercising, eating a healthy diet, and choosing not to smoke are well within your control. There are 9 dimensions of wellness: physical, emotional, intellectual, interpersonal, cultural, spiritual, environmental, financial, and occupational. This is the wellness continuum. Each dimension of wellness affects the others. The process of achieving wellness is constant and dynamic, involving change and growth. Ignoring any dimension of wellness can have harmful effects on your life. The following sections briefly introduce the dimensions of wellness. Physical wellness. Your physical wellness includes not just your body's overall condition and the absence of disease, but also your fitness level and your ability to take care for yourself. The higher your fitness level, the higher level of physical wellness will be. Similarly, as you take better care of your own physical needs, you ensure greater physical wellness. To achieve optimum physical wellness, you need to make choices that help you avoid illnesses and injuries. The decisions you make now and the habits you develop over your lifetime will largely determine the length and quality of your life. Emotional wellness. Your emotional wellness reflects your ability to understand and deal with your own feelings. Emotional wellness involves attending to your own thoughts and feelings, monitoring your reactions, and identifying obstacles to emotional stability. Self-acceptance is your personal satisfaction with yourself, which might exclude society's expectations, whereas self-esteem relates to the way you think others perceive you. Self-confidence can be a part of both acceptance and esteem. Achieving this type of wellness means finding solutions to emotional problems with professional help if necessary. Next, we have intellectual wellness. Those who enjoy intellectual wellness continually challenge their minds. By being in college, you are innately doing this. An active mind is essential to wellness because it detects problems and finds solutions. People who enjoy intellectual wellness never stop learning, and they seek out and relish new experiences and challenges. Interpersonal wellness. Satisfying and supportive relationships are important to physical and emotional wellness. Learning good communication skills, developing the capacity for intimacy, and cultivating a support network are all important to interpersonal or social wellness. Social wellness requires participating in and contributing to your community and society. Cultural wellness. Cultural wellness refers to the way you interact with others who are different from you in terms of ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, age, and customs. It involves creating relationships with others and suspending judgment on others' behavior until you have lived with them or walked in their shoes. It also includes accepting, valuing, and even celebrating the different cultural ways people interact in the world. The extent to which you maintain and value cultural identities is one measure of cultural wellness. Spiritual wellness. To enjoy spiritual wellness is to possess a set of guiding beliefs, principles, or values that give meaning and purpose to your life, especially in difficult times. The well person uses spirituality to focus on positive aspects of life and to fend off negative feelings such as cynicism, anger, and pessimism. Organized religions help many people develop spiritual health. Religion, however, is not the only source or form of spiritual wellness. Many people find meaning and purpose in their lives in their own way, through nature, art, meditation, or good works, or with their loved ones. Environmental wellness. Your environmental wellness is defined by the livability of your surroundings. Personal health depends on the health of the planet, from the safety of food supply to the degree of violence in society. To improve your environmental wellness, you can learn about and protect yourself against hazards in your surroundings and work to make your world a cleaner and safer place. Financial wellness. Financial wellness refers to your ability to live within your means and to manage your money in a way that gives you peace of mind. It includes balancing your income and expenses, staying out of debt, saving for the future, and understanding your emotions related to money. Occupational wellness. Occupational wellness refers to the level of happiness and fulfillment you gain through your work. Although high salaries and prestigious titles are gratifying, they alone do not bring about occupational wellness. An occupationally well person likes his or her work, feels a connection with others in the workplace, and takes advantage of opportunities to learn and be challenged. Another important aspect of occupational wellness is recognition from your managers and colleagues. An ideal job draws on your interests and passions, as well as your vocational skills, and allows you to feel that you are making a contribution. Here are a variety of ways to practice your wellness. So I'll read through a couple of them for an example. Through physical wellness, you can practice eating well, exercising, practice safe sex, getting regular checkups, and avoiding injuries. For occupational wellness, you can practice building satisfying relationships with coworkers. Environmental wellness, you can maintain sustainable development, you can recycle when possible, and reduce pollution and waste when possible. One 165 years ago, Americans considered themselves lucky just to have survived to adulthood. A boy born in 1850, for example, could expect to live only about 38 years, and a girl 40 years. Many people died from common infections such as pneumonia, tuberculosis, or diarrhea, and poor environmental conditions such as water pollution and poor sanitation. By 2015, however, life expectancy nearly doubled to 78.8. This increase in lifespan is due largely to the development of vaccines and antibiotics to fight infections, and to public health measures to improve living conditions. But even though life expectancy has increased, poor health limits most Americans' activities during the last 10 to 15% of their lives, resulting in some sort of impaired life. Today, a different set of diseases have emerged as our major health threat. Heart disease, cancer, and chronic lower respiratory diseases are now the 3 leading causes of death for Americans. While life expectancy has consistently increased each decade in the United States since 1850, the rate of improvement has slowed. And as of 2015, it actually dropped for the first time in decades. A recent increase in deaths from heart disease, stroke, and diabetes may be linked to the obesity epidemic that began in the late 1970s. Medical treatments may be reaching their limits in treating heart disease and in preventing other early deaths related to obesity. Moreover, people are becoming obese at earlier ages, exposing them to the adverse effects of excess body fat over a longer period of time. Obesity and poor eating habits can lead to all the major chronic diseases. And a chronic disease is a disease that develops and continues over a long period of time, such as heart disease or cancer. Most chronic diseases are influenced by lifestyle choices. Lifestyle choices are a conscious behavior that can increase or decrease a person's risk of disease or injury. Such behaviors include smoking, eating a healthy diet, exercising, and using alcohol. This figure shows public health achievements during the 20th century, and they are credited with adding more than 25 years to life expectancy for Americans, greatly improving quality of life. They also dramatically reduced deaths from infectious diseases. Public health improvements continue into the 21st century, including greater roadway safety, a steep decline in childhood lead poisoning, and an expansion of health insurance coverage. This pie chart shows the quantity of life versus the quality of life. As you can see, adults currently have a life expectancy of 78.8 years. The 70.4 of those years are expected to be healthy life, meaning you are without injury or illness. And then it's estimated that you have about 8.4 years of impaired life, where your quality of life is decreasing. Right now, in 2020, the number of years of impaired life is actually up to 11. So each average adult can expect to have 11 years where their quality of life decreases before death. This chart shows the leading causes of death in the United States from 2012. The leading cause of death in the United States is heart disease. In 2012, it caused 633,842 deaths and accounted for 23.4% of all deaths. Some of the lifestyle factors that play a part include diet, inactivity, smoking, excessive alcohol use, and obesity. Cancer has similar lifestyle factors that play a part. In 2012, over 500,000 people died from cancer, or 22% of deaths that occurred in 2012 were due to cancer. Next, we have chronic lower respiratory diseases, which accounted for 155,000 deaths. Similarly, it has similar lifestyle factors: diet, inactivity, smoking, and obesity. Next, we have unintentional injuries or accidents. Almost 150,000 people died from accidents in 2012. Ranking number 5, we have strokes with 140,000, and then we have Alzheimer's disease with 110,000. Ranking number 7, we have diabetes. 8, we have influenza and pneumonia. 9th, we have kidney disease. And 10th, we have intentional self-harm or suicide. At the very bottom, you can see all causes. This is the number of people that died in 2012 from any reason whatsoever, and that number was 2,712,630. This table includes the key contributors to death among Americans. So these are the main reasons people are dying. Okay, so first we have tobacco use, which accounts for almost 500,000 people. Diet and activity patterns, which relates to obesity, almost 500,000 people. Alcohol consumption, 90,000. Microbial agents, like bacterial and viral infections, 80,000. Firearms, 30,000. Illicit or illegal drug use, 25,000. Motor vehicle accidents, 20,000. And sexual behavior, such as cervical cancer, sexually acquired HIV, hepatitis B and C, 15,000. The leading cause of death among Americans aged 15 to 24, which is considered young adults, in 2015. So these rank a little differently. The number one cause of death among young adults is almost always accidents. Mostly this involves car accidents, poisoning from drugs and alcohol, and other unintentional injuries. So the number one cause of death for young adults is accidents. Next, we have suicide. And then third, we have homicide. Fourth, we have cancer. Fifth, we have heart disease. Total healthcare expenditures in the United States are the highest in the world and currently growing. By 2016, this is a little outdated, they exceeded $10,000 per person each year, including both out-of-pocket payments by individuals and costs paid by private and government health insurance. These costs are not distributed evenly across individuals, and people's healthcare costs may vary significantly from year to year. Health insurance helps people pay for routine preventative care and protects them financially in the event of a serious or expensive illness or injury. Many people obtain health insurance through an employer, while others qualify for government-sponsored programs such as Medicare, which covers nearly all adults aged 65 and older. Still, the United States over time has had a high number of people who lacked insurance, peaking at approximately 50 million, or 16% of the population, in 2010. People without insurance are less likely to receive preventative care or treatment for major health problems. Thus, in 2010, the Affordable Care Act, or the ACA, aimed to both reduce the number of uninsured and control the rise in healthcare costs. It mandated that most people obtain health insurance or pay a federal penalty. It provided financial assistance for people with low incomes by expanding Medicaid and by providing tax credits and income-based subsidies for people who obtained insurance through the newly established insurance exchanges. The Healthy People Initiative. The National Healthy People Initiative aims to prevent disease and improve Americans' quality of life. Healthy People reports, published each decade since 1980, set national health goals based on 10-year agendas. The initiative's most recent iteration, Healthy People 2020, was released to the public in 2010. Healthy People 2020 envisions a society in which all people live long, healthy lives, and proposes the eventual achievement of the following broad national objectives: eliminate preventable disease, disability, injury, and premature death; achieve health equity, eliminate disparities, and improve the health of all groups; create social and physical environments that promote good health for all; promote healthy development and healthy behaviors across every stage of life. This table shows some of the progress towards the Healthy People 2020 targets. The first objective is to increase the proportion of people with health insurance. So in 2008, the percentage of people with health insurance was 83.2, and the target was to get to 100%. In 2014 to 15, only 89.4% of people had health insurance, meaning that the progress toward the goal was insignificant. If you look in the third row, we have the objective of reduced proportion of obese adults. So in 2008, we had 33.9% of the population being obese. And in 2014-15, it was reported that 37.7% of people were obese, suggesting that it is getting worse. Right? We are not making any progress with obesity. If we look at the 5th row, we can read the objective, increased proportion of adults who meet federal guidelines for exercise. In 2008, 18% of adults said they were meeting those guidelines. And in 2014-15, that increased to 21%. So in this case, the target was met. Now we're going to cover some behaviors that contribute to wellness. So the first is to be physically active. The human body is designed to be active. It readily adapts to nearly any level of activity and exercise. Physical fitness is a set of physical attributes that allow the body to respond or adapt to the demands and stress of physical effort. The more we ask of our bodies, the stronger and more fit they become. Unfortunately, a sedentary lifestyle is common among Americans. And sedentary refers to physically inactive, and it means literally to sit. According to a 2013 survey, only about half of adult Americans met the federal physical guidelines in 2013. And the federal physical guidelines are 150 minutes per week of moderate aerobic exercise. So there are many benefits of regular physical activity. This includes increased endurance, strength, flexibility, healthier muscles, bones, and joints, improved body composition, more energy. You're more able to cope with stress. It can improve your mood and self-esteem, and it helps you fall asleep and sleep more soundly. It also reduces your risk of dying prematurely from all causes, reduces your risk of developing many chronic diseases, reduces your risk of becoming obese, reduces anxiety, tension, and depression, and it also reduces risk of falls and fractures. So here are some behaviors that you should choose in order to contribute to wellness. The first is choosing a healthy diet. In addition to being sedentary, many Americans have a diet that is too high in calories, unhealthy fats, added sugars, as well as too low in fiber, complex carbohydrates, fruits, and vegetables. Like physical inactivity, diet is linked to a number of chronic diseases. A healthy diet provides necessary nutrients and sufficient energy without also providing too much of the dietary substances linked to disease. You should also work to maintain a healthy body weight. Overweight and obesity are associated with a number of disabling and potentially fatal conditions and diseases, such as heart disease, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. Researchers estimate that obesity kills between 112,000 and 400,000 Americans each year. A healthy body weight is an important part of wellness, but short-term dieting is not part of fitness or wellness. Maintaining a healthy body weight requires a lifelong commitment to regular exercise, a healthy diet, and effective stress management. Next, we have manage stress effectively. Many people cope with stress by eating, drinking, or smoking too much. Others don't deal with it at all. In the short term, inappropriate stress management can lead to fatigue, sleep disturbances, and other symptoms. Over longer periods of time, poor stress management can lead to less efficient functioning of the immune system and increased susceptibility to disease. You may have noticed before in your college experience that people tend to get sick around midterms and exams. And this is mostly because of poor stress management. Next, you should avoid tobacco and drug use and limit alcohol consumption. So tobacco use is associated with 9 of the 10 top causes of death in the United States. Personal tobacco use and secondhand smoke kill nearly 500,000 Americans each year, more than any other behavioral or environmental factor. Excessive alcohol consumption is linked to 8 of the top 10 causes of death and results in about 90,000 deaths a year. Other steps towards wellness that you can take. This includes developing meaningful relationships, for example, learning to communicate and dealing with anger. Planning for successful aging, for example, anticipating physical challenges and maintaining hobbies. You should learn about the healthcare system, like knowing what treatment options are available to you, and you should act responsibly towards the environment. So you should help to reduce pollution and encourage sustainable practices. Wellness factors that seem outside of our control. So often when people talk about, especially some chronic diseases, they'll refer to their poor genetics or their family history. And so heredity, the environment, and adequate health care are often important influences on health and wellness. These factors can interact in ways that raise or lower the quality of a person's life and the risk of developing particular diseases. For example, a sedentary lifestyle combined with the genetic predisposition for diabetes can greatly increase a person's risk of developing the disease. If this sedentary, genetically predisposed person also lacks adequate health care, he or she is much more likely to suffer dangerous complications from diabetes. But in most cases, behavior can tip the balance towards health, even if heredity or environment is a negative factor. Breast cancer, for example, can run in families, but it is also associated with being overweight and living a sedentary lifestyle. A woman with a family history of breast cancer is less likely to die from the disease if she controls her weight, exercises, eats a healthy diet, and has regular mammograms to help detect the disease in its early, most treatable stage. College students and wellness. It is common for students to lose productive academic time to stress, physical issues, and emotional problems. Some common issues that occur as a college student are stress, anxiety, difficulty sleeping, depression, work, or concern for friends. By reducing unhealthy choices and increasing healthy choices, such as by improving their time management, diet, and exercise, students can improve their overall wellness. Reaching wellness through lifestyle management. Moving in the direction of wellness means cultivating healthy behaviors and working to overcome unhealthy ones. This approach to lifestyle management is called behavior change. As you may already know from experience, changing an unhealthy habit can be harder than it sounds. Before a person can change, she or he must know that the behavior is a problem and that she or he can change it. Before getting serious about your health, it's important that you examine your current health habits. Consider how your current lifestyle is affecting your health today. How will it affect your health in the future? Do you know which of your current habits enhance your health and which ones may be harmful? Choose a target behavior. Changing any behavior can be demanding. This is why it's a good idea to start small. By choosing one behavior you want to change, called a target behavior, and working on it until you succeed. Your chances of success will be greater if your first goal is simple, such as resisting the urge to snack between classes. As you change one behavior, make your next goal a little more significant and build on your success over time. Learning about your target behavior. After you've chosen a target behavior, you need to learn about its risks and benefits for you both now and in the future. Try to find help. Identify a particularly challenging target behavior, something like the overuse of alcohol, binge eating, or depression, that interferes with your ability to function or places you at serious health risk. You may need help changing behaviors or conditions that are too deeply rooted or too serious for self-management. Don't be discouraged by the seriousness or the extent of the problem. Many resources are available to help. On campus, Student Health Center or Campus Counseling Center can provide assistance. Examine the pros and cons of change. Health behaviors have short-term and long-term benefits and costs. Consider the benefits and costs of an inactive lifestyle. For the short term, such a lifestyle allows you to have more time to watch TV and hang out with friends, but it leaves you less fit and less able to participate in recreational activities. In the long term, this lifestyle increases the risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, and premature death. In order to successfully change a behavior, you must believe that the benefits of change outweigh the costs. When you start thinking about changing a health behavior, a big factor in your eventual success is whether you have confidence in yourself and in your ability to change. Self-efficacy refers to your belief in your ability to successfully take action and perform a specific task. Strategies for boosting self-efficacy include developing an internal locus of control, using visualization and self-talk, and getting encouragement from supportive people. Locus of control. Locus of control is a figurative place a person designates as the source of responsibility for the events in his or her life. Who do you believe is controlling your life? Is it your parents, friends, or school? Is it fate, or is it you? People who believe they are in control of their own lives are said to have an internal locus of control. Those who believe that factors beyond their control determine the course of their lives are said to have an external locus of control. For lifestyle management, an internal locus of control is an advantage because it reinforces motivation and commitment. An external locus of control can sabotage efforts to change behavior. For example, if you believe that you are destined to die of breast cancer because your mother died from the disease, you may view screening mammograms as a waste of time. In contrast, if you believe that you can take action to reduce your risk of breast cancer in spite of hereditary factors, you will be motivated to follow guidelines for early detection of the disease. If you find yourself attributing too much influence to outside forces, gather more information about your wellness-related behaviors. List all the ways that making lifestyle changes will improve your health. If you believe you'll succeed, and if you recognize that you are in charge of your life, you're on your way. Next is visualization and self-talk. One of the best ways to boost your confidence and self-efficacy is to visualize yourself successfully engaging in a new, healthier behavior. Imagine yourself going for an afternoon run 3 days a week or no longer smoking cigarettes. Also visualize yourself enjoying all the short-term and long-term benefits that your lifestyle change will bring you. Create a new self-image. What will you and your life be like when you become a regular exerciser or a non-smoker? You can also use self-talk, or the internal dialogue you carry on with yourself, to increase your confidence in your ability to change. Counter any self-defeating patterns of thought with more positive or realistic thoughts. For example, I am a strong, capable person, and I can maintain my commitment to change. Lastly, we have role models and other supportive individuals. Social support can make a big difference in your level of motivation and your chances of success. Perhaps you know people who have reached the goal you're striving for. They could be role models or mentors, providing information and support your efforts. Gain strength from their experiences and tell yourself, if they can do it, so can I. In addition, find a buddy who wants to make the same changes you do and who can take an active role in your behavior change program. For example, an exercise partner can provide companionship and encouragement when you might be tempted to skip your workout. Identify and overcome barriers to change. Don't let past failures at behavior change discourage you. They can be a great source of information you can use to boost your chances of future success. Make a list of the problems and challenges you face in any previous behavior change attempts. To this list, add the short-term costs of behavior change that you identified in your analysis of the pros and cons of change. After you've listed these key barriers to change, develop a practical plan for overcoming each one. For example, if you always smoke when you're with certain friends, decide in advance how you will turn down the next cigarette you are offered. Enhancing your readiness to change. The stages of change model, also known as the trans-theoretical model. The stages of change model is an effective approach to lifestyle management. This is a behavior change model that's used in many health fields. According to this model, you move through distinct stages as you work to change your target behavior. It is important to determine what stage you are in now so that you can choose appropriate strategies for progressing through the cycle of change. The first stage is pre-contemplation. People at this stage do not think that they have a problem and do not intend to change their behavior. They may be unaware of the risks associated with their behavior or may deny them. They may have tried unsuccessfully to change in the past and may now think the situation is hopeless. They may also blame other people or external factors for their problems. People in the pre-contemplation stage believe that there are more reasons or more important reasons not to change than there are reasons to change. The next stage is contemplation. People at this stage know that they have a problem and intend to take action within 6 months. They acknowledge the benefits of behavior change, but worry about the costs of changing. To be successful, people must believe that the benefits of change outweigh the costs. People in the contemplation stage wonder about possible courses of action, but don't know how to proceed. There may also be specific barriers to change that appear too difficult to overcome. The next stage is preparation. People at this stage plan to take action within a month or may have already begun to make small changes in their behavior. They may be engaging in their new healthier behavior, but not yet regularly or consistently. They may have created a plan for change, but they may be worried about failing. Action. During the action stage, people outwardly modify their behavior in their environment. The action stage requires the greatest commitment of time and energy, and people in this stage are at risk for reverting to old, unhealthy patterns of behavior. So during the action stage, people have started to change, but they have been changing for less than 6 months. Maintenance. People at this stage have maintained their new, healthier lifestyle for at least 6 months. Lapses may have occurred, but people in maintenance have been successful in quickly re-establishing the desired behavior. The maintenance stage can last for months or years. The last stage is termination. People at the termination stage have exited the cycle of change and are no longer tempted to lapse back into their old behavior. They have a new self-image and total self-efficacy with regard to their target behavior. Some people consider this when the behavior becomes part of your personality, something you will never ever stop doing. Here is what the model looks like. So in the beginning, you can see the person is not yet ready, and then they are thinking about it, they start to prepare for action, they take action, and they maintain a good thing for life, hopefully. Dealing with relapse. People seldom progress through the stages of change in a straightforward, linear way. Rather, people tend to move to a new stage and then slip back to a previous stage before resuming their forward progress. Research suggests that most people make several attempts before they successfully change a behavior. 4 out of 5 people experience some degree of backsliding. For this reason, the stages of change are best conceptualized as a spiral, in which people cycle back through previous stages. If you experience a lapse, or a single slip, or a relapse, a return to old habits, don't give up. Relapse can be demoralizing, but it is not the same as failure. Failure means stopping before you reach your goal and never changing your target behavior. During the early stages of change, it's a good idea to plan for relapse so that you can avoid guilt and self-blame and get back on track quickly. You should follow these steps. First, forgive yourself. A single setback isn't the end of the world, but abandoning your efforts to change could have a negative effect on your life. 2. Give yourself credit for the progress you have already made. You can use that success as motivation to continue. And third, you should move on. You can learn from a relapse and use that knowledge to deal with the potential setbacks in the future. Developing skills for change, creating a personalized plan. Once you are committed to making a change, put together a plan of action. Your key to success is a well thought out plan that sets goals, anticipates problems, and includes rewards. This plan includes the following steps. First, you should monitor your behavior and gather data. Keep a record of your target behavior and the circumstances surrounding it. Record this information for at least a week or 2. Keep your notes in a journal or a notebook or on your phone or computer. Record each occurrence of your behavior, noting the following: what the activity was, when and where it happened, what you were doing, and how you felt at the time. Second, analyze the data and identify patterns. After you collect the data on the behavior, analyze the data to identify the patterns. When are you most likely to overeat? To skip a meal? What events trigger your appetite? Perhaps you're especially hungry in mid-morning or when you put off eating until dinner. Third, you should be smart about setting goals. If your goals are too challenging, you will have trouble making steady progress and will be more likely to give up. If, for example, you are in poor physical condition, it will not make sense to set a goal of being ready to run a marathon within 2 months. If you set goals you can live with, it will be easier to stick with your behavior change plan and to be successful. Experts suggest that your goals meet the SMART criteria. That is, your behavior goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timeframe specific. Specific means to avoid vague goals like eat more fruits and vegetables. Instead, state your objective in specific terms, such as eat 2 cups of fruit and 3 cups of vegetables every day. For measurable, recognize that your progress will be easier to track if your goals are quantifiable, so give your goal a number. You might measure your goal in terms of time, such as walk for 20 minutes a day, distance, run 2 miles, 3 days per week, or some other amount. Drink 8 glasses of water every day. Make sure your goal is attainable. Set goals that are within your physical limits. For example, if you are a poor swimmer, you might not be able to meet a short-term fitness goal by swimming laps. Walking or biking might be better options. Next, it should be realistic. Manage your expectations when you set goals. For example, longtime smokers may not be able to quit cold turkey. A more realistic approach might be to use nicotine replacement patches or gum for several weeks while getting help from a support group. Lastly, time frame specific. Give yourself a reasonable amount of time to reach your goal. State the time frame in your behavior change plan and set your agenda to meet the goal within the given time frame. Using these criteria, sedentary people who want to improve their health and build fitness might set a goal of being able to run 3 miles in 30 minutes to be achieved within a time frame of 6 months. To work towards that goal, they might set a number of smaller intermediate goals that are easier to achieve. The next step is to devise a plan of action. Develop a strategy that will support your efforts to change. Your plan of action should include the following steps. First, get what you need. Identify resources that can help you. For example, you can join a community walking club or sign up for smoking cessation programs. You may also need to buy some new running shoes or nicotine replacement patches. Get the items you need right away. Waiting can delay your progress. Next, you should modify your environment. If you have cues in your environment that trigger your target behavior, try to control them. For example, if you normally have alcohol at home, getting rid of it can help prevent you from indulging. If you usually study with a group of friends in an environment that allows smoking, move to a non-smoking area. If you always buy a snack at a certain vending machine, change your route to avoid it. Next, control related habits. You may have habits that contribute to your target behavior. Modifying these habits can help change your behavior. For example, if you usually plop down on the sofa while watching TV, try to put an exercise bike in front of the set so that you can burn calories while watching your favorite program. Reward yourself. Giving yourself instant real rewards for good behavior will reinforce your efforts. Plan your rewards. Decide in advance what each one will be and how you will earn it. Tie rewards to achieving specific goals or sub-goals. For example, you might treat yourself to a movie after a week of avoiding snacks. Make a list of items or events to use as rewards. They should be special to you and preferably unrelated to food or alcohol. Next, involve the people around you. Ask family and friends to help you with your plan. To help them respond appropriately to your needs, create a specific list of do's and don'ts. For example, ask them to support you when they set aside time to exercise or when you avoid second helpings at dinner. Next, you should plan for challenges. Think about situations and people that might derail your program and develop ways to cope with it. For example, if you think it'll be hard to stick to your usual exercise program during exams, schedule short bouts of physical activity like a short walk as stress-reducing study breaks. Next, you should make a personal contract. A serious personal contract, one that commits you to your word, can result in a higher chance of follow-through than a casual, offhand promise. Your contract can help prevent procrastination by specifying important dates and can also serve as a reminder of your personal commitment to change. This is a sample health journal entry. This is a sample behavior change contract. Putting your plan into action. The starting date has arrived and you're ready to put your plan into action. This stage requires commitment, the resolve to stick with a plan no matter what temptations you encounter. Use all the strategies you have gathered to make your plan work. And then give yourself a pat on the back for staying with your behavior change. Possible sources of blocked progress can include social influences. Don't be surprised if you run up against obstacles. They're inevitable during your progress. Social influences. Take a hard look at reactions of the people you're counting on and see if they're really supporting you. If they come up short, connect with others who will be more supportive. Levels of motivation and commitment. You won't make real progress until an inner drive prompts you to the stage of change at which you are ready to make a personal commitment to the goal. Choice of techniques and level of effort. If your plan is not working as well as you thought it would, make changes where you're having the most trouble. If you've lagged on your running schedule, for example, maybe it's because you don't like running. An aerobics class might suit you better. Stress barrier. If you hit a wall in your program, look at the sources of stress in your life. Stress is temporary. If the stress is temporary, such as catching a cold or having a term paper due, you may want to wait until it passes before strengthening your efforts. If the stress is ongoing, find healthy ways to manage it. Procrastinating, rationalizing, and blaming. Be alert to games you might be playing with yourself so you can stop them. Such games include the following. Procrastinating. If you tell yourself, it's Friday already, I might as well wait until Monday to start, you're procrastinating. Break your plan into smaller steps so that you can accomplish one day at a time. Rationalizing. If you tell yourself, I want to go swimming today, but I won't have time to wash my hair afterward, you're making excuses. Blaming. If you tell yourself, I couldn't exercise because Dave was hogging the elliptical trainer, you're blaming others for your own failure to follow through. Blaming is a way of taking focus off the real problem and denying responsibility for your own actions. Being fit and well for life. Your first attempts at making behavior changes may never go beyond the contemplation or preparation stage. But as you experience some success, you'll start to have more positive feelings about yourself. You may discover new physical activities and sports you enjoy, and you may encounter new situations and meet new people. Once you have started your behavior change, don't stop. Assume that health improvement is forever. Take on the easier problems first, and then use what you have learned to tackle the more difficult problems. When you feel challenged, remind yourself that you are creating a lifestyle that minimizes your health risks and maximizes your enjoyment in life.